In the grimdark present of the second millennium, there was only war. Twitter wars, social media blackouts, and cancellations of the human variety. Today we will be looking past that and into the future of eternal war and endless death. Today, I'm your host, Chapter Master Hotkakicus, with my co-hosts, Commissar Roxas Hunterus, and our new inductee, White Shield Equinox Mycaeus. Welcome.
Can I be a purple shield?
To So You Think You Can Fanon, with today's sponsor, Gershwan.
Who?
Gershwan, the famous Warhammer YouTuber and legend.
Oh,
And his buddy, the Sound Alchemist.
And his buddy, the Sound Alchemist.
cool.
Although, unlike them, we are not just reading off the wiki.
Oh, I just want to take this moment real quick to say, I got my G Fuel today after a long, grueling process, aka me pressing the order button.
Damn, that's hard.
So, I got the flavor I think would be possibly the worst flavor, which is Swedish fish or Raging Gummy. So I'm gonna try a live sip. Let me get a sniff here.
Give us a whiff. Give us a loud whiff. All right.
It definitely smells fruity. I can say that. All right.
Also, before we start, I'll just give a little intro. This is Sergio and I want to read Warhammer podcasts on this, or not podcasts, Warhammer fanfics on this. But you kind of need to understand the lore of Warhammer before you get into stuff like that. So we made a little PowerPoint presentation for Michael so he can understand it, and for you.
Yes, this is the big Warhammer 40k lore stream, and I would just like to know that we aren't covering everything here. It would be impossible to sum.
Yeah, this is like
we're just gonna summon like the plot,
the important stuff.
Yes.
Let me get a big sippy here before.
Yeah, take your big sippy.
This PowerPoint is of course going to be the most humorous memey thing ever. But if you do legitimately have lore questions, we will answer them.
Yes.
Oh.
Like, it's memey, but we will answer questions. What were you saying about your...
Okay. It's not bad, but as someone who likes Swedish fish, it doesn't have the same like strong kick as the Swedish fish. It's like it's almost like a light Swedish fish flavor.
I don't think I put a Swedish fish into my body in at least a decade.
It's okay. I'll say it's just okay. But you guys can start up.
All right.
Link to the.
I'm sharing screens with you, right?
Yeah. We'll put a link to the presentation in the description of this episode of the podcast, so you can follow along with us.
So, welcome to Big Jim's Guide to the Warhammer 40,000. I am your host, Big Jim Goldinger, and here I have Sergeant Bermudez assisting me.
Howdy.
Are we gonna censor out those names, or are you guys just fine with it?
No, I'm fine with it.
I'm fine with it. My name is literally on my Twitter account.
That's also true.
But yeah, so chapter 1, the beginning. A bunch of frog beings became gods. They created all the races, basically. So we have their creations include the pointy hippies, also known as the elves or the Eldari. They were like the ruling species for a long time because they liked sex and they fucked a lot.
And they lived a long time, which is important.
They lived a long time also. So
don't blame them.
So they ended up becoming two sub-races of elves, the Eldari and the Dark Eldari, or the Eldari and the Drukhari. The reason that they became Dark Elves is because they fucked so much they created a god.
Oh.
Yes, and the Dark Eldar wouldn't stop fucking, and the Eldar was like, we gotta stop doing that.
Yeah, so they became like douchey monks and then BDSM slaves.
Yes, and the big thing is that the Dark Eldars realized that if they kept torturing and fucking, they could keep their souls, and the god they created wouldn't suck them out. And then the Eldar figured if they just like didn't do that, they wouldn't get their souls sucked out.
Yeah.
Huh.
So next up we have the skeletons, or the Necrons. So basically the Necrons, they had a really bad emo phase, right?
All right, hold on. Pause real quick. I just want to say, the more I drink of this, the more I hate it.
Yeah, I think that sounds right. Yeah, so they had a big emo phase. There were these skeleton guys that lived on a shitty world full of shitty things. They listened to a lot of Falling in Reverse. They painted their nails.
Edgy.
Well, they found this sentient fart cloud, right?
Is this canon?
Yes.
It's a sentient fart cloud?
Yes.
Okay.
And so they started worshiping it. So they gave the sentient fart cloud a body, right?
Uh-huh.
And so it became this giant robot. And it was like, dude, you know what's cool? Souls. And drank a bunch of their souls and then put them into little robots. So the skeletons became robot skeletons.
And then they killed the frogs.
And then they killed the frogs that created them because they were mad that the frogs created them because they hate life.
Why are the gods frogs?
Because they are. Next question.
Oh. So this is not fantasy Warhammer.
No.
No, this is 40k, which is like fantasy in the future, if that makes sense.
It's a sci-fi fantasy.
Yeah.
So I was about to say, I don't know about you, but if you would have told me that there are robot skeletons in the Warhammer game, I would be all over them.
Yeah, Dawn of War has the robot skeletons. Dawn of War is like the most popular-ish Warhammer game. Debatably the best one. Debatably.
I would love to play as revenants.
They're like they have like pyramids of like soul fuckery, and
they have scarab beetles. They're very Egyptian themed.
Yeah, I guess if we were to describe them as an actual fantasy race, Warhammer Fantasy has literally, they're called Tomb Kings. They're just skeleton.
So necromancer
zombies.
lords, dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They also created the green skins to fight the skeleton boys. Also, you know who they are.
Yeah,
everyone loves them. Everyone hates them. They actually started out as Krorks, which were like big Chad orcs that weren't dumb.
Whoa.
But then they devolved into orcs, and now they're orcs. And how much do you know about orcs in Warhammer?
I know they're like, oh man, you wanna big meat?
So the reason that orcs are so scary, right, is because they're a fungus in this universe.
Oh.
They're like a plague, basically. You get orc infestations on your planet, and then your planet's just fucked. So, they grow out of funguses into things, and they grow into various forms. There are the Grots, or the Gretchens, which are little goblins, basically. They're like the like bottom feeders. And then there's orc boys, which are just like normal orcs. And then there's
they have very specializations.
Oh, yeah. They have special, like there's weird boys, there's hard boys, or odd boys.
Hard boys.
Yeah, they're just cool.
I think they're melee orcs.
Boys. Yeah, and then there's the knobs, which are like big orcs.
Big.
And, the way that orc culture works is that the bigger you are, the more in charge you are, and the more you kill, the bigger you get.
Like gorillas.
So if you're big, that means you killed a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
So you're
I also don't know if gorillas determine their alpha based on size or based on their power.
Yes.
I think it is.
I think it's both.
Yes,
because the bigger ones are stronger.
Yeah, the bigger ones are stronger and thus beat everyone else up.
Yeah, so
which is kind of just how life goes in general.
Yeah, another thing about the orcs in Warhammer is that they have what's called a wog field, right?
Wah.
This is what makes them so scary, right? Because basically, how it works, if enough orcs believe something, it becomes true.
Are you kidding me?
I will describe it in what I think is the best example. So we got a bunch of orcs, right, and they're heading out to battle in their truck, and the truck runs out of gasoline, and he's like, "Oh, the tank's out of gasoline!" And then the biggest one is like, "What are you talking about?" And he slaps him on the back of the head. "I filled it up this morning." And then he turns the key, car runs.
I will say they can't consciously do this. Like, it's not really like something they can just be like, "I believe this now." They're dumb. They're really dumb.
Yeah, I was about to say, because they're dumb.
But like they think red is a fast color. So whenever orcs are around, everything, including human things, mind you, red things just become faster. All of their ships are painted red, and they go faster.
Yeah, all their technology is really ramshackle, and in the hands of a regular human being, you'd be like, how does this even function? Like, it doesn't work. But they have a general understanding. It works because they believe it works.
Yeah, like it's like, oh, this is a gun. Like, it has trigger, it has barrel. This is where I put the bullets in. It's a gun. So even if it's just made out of shitty scrap metal and has no firing chamber or like gunpowder in it, it works. Because they think that's how guns work.
That's fair.
They're also the only the only race in the galaxy to create teleporters.
Mm-hmm. And there's also the what is it? Hold on, I just lost my train of thought. Oh, the stories of was it Commissar Yorick, Serge?
Yeah, Commissar Yarick.
So Commissar Yarick, right? He's like the arch enemy of the orcs. He's the most respected human in all of orc culture. He has a glass eye. So one day he woke up, right? Couldn't get his coffee. Has to go to battle with some orcs. Shitty mood, right?
Yep.
So he's just like, and he just gets so mad. He just shoots a laser out of his eye, his glass eye. And he goes, "What the fuck?" Well, it turns out that the orcs started telling each other that he can shoot lasers out of his glass eye.
That's so cool.
And so he just can now. He also can use a power claw, which is an orc weapon that doesn't work normally because it's just like a bunch of fucking scrap that uses magic for some reason. And he can use them because they think he can. So he keeps one with him so he can use it on them.
Well, he replaced his arm with it.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty badass.
But yeah, so, and that leads us into the final important faction. The people, the humans. They're human, and that's going to go into our next section. Earth sucks.
Yeah, that's fair.
Humans kept killing each other, so a bunch of hippies decided to get into a group and was like, the Earth sucks, right?
Cock, dick, ballin'.
And they went cock, dick, ballin', low-tier god style. And they all killed themselves. There was like 12 of them.
Okay.
Well, these hippies weren't just normal hippies. They can tap into the warp, which is like an elseworld dimension where, as I put here, the DeviantArt OC's inner edge is stored. That's where all of the good and the bad feelings in the universe are stored. All of the races have their own little section of it, and they can tap into it.
It's a realm of belief.
Yeah,
time and space and regular laws of physics don't apply in it.
It's called the immaterium in canon. It's just like a not material realm. Just everything's wonky there.
Gotcha.
So evil gods live there because all the bad stuff is there, and that
includes 4 of them.
Yeah, Darkside Phil, the god of stanky pussy. Belle Delphine, the god that the elves fucked into existence. Belle Delphine is a god and a goddess because she has a penis, but she's also a she.
Wait, how did she get a penis?
She's the god of sex and everything. She's just she's everything. Ben Shapiro, the god of and we have the finally the most important one, the irate gamer, the god of not being an AVGN ripoff.
Did you hear that he returned?
Yeah. And now he's doing a collab with the AVGN, which proves that he's not a ripoff.
Man, I used to watch the irate gamer a lot growing up.
Really?
I don't know what. Yeah,
I only found out about him a few years ago, but I love it.
When I was a kid, I knew he was an AVGN ripoff, and I just stuck with watching the AVGN.
He's not an AVGN ripoff, okay? He's not.
I started watching him, and then that's how I found the AVGN.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
But he was. I mean, it was fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but, those are our 4 memories of the gods. They're actually named Nurgle is the god of plague.
He's the god of decay.
Yeah, decay, plague.
All
the stanky shit. Yeah, Belle Delphine is Slanesh, the god / goddess of like want and sex and
it's
all
desire, hedonism, pleasure, but like to the greatest extent.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Ben Shapiro is Sinch. How would you describe Tzeentch?
Tzeentch is the changer of ways, the god of sorcery. He's the god of like subterfuge and planning.
And then
He's
the
quite
irate
important each
gamer.
class.
Yeah, the irate gamer is Khorne, the blood god. He is mad all the time and likes blood.
Understandable.
But yeah, so these hippies combined their warp manifestations into one Superman, and this man became a guy, and this guy is the greatest guy ever, and this guy's name was the Emperor.
Uh-oh.
And that leads us into chapter 3. Earth no longer sucks. The Emperor decided to wait for humans to suck less until he initiated Operation Pussy Control.
Okay.
I don't remember writing that. To be honest, I know I wrote this, but I don't remember writing that.
I want a shirt that just says Operation Pussy Control.
It's just a picture of the Emperor that says initiate Operation Pussy Control. But yeah, and by that I mean he hid for a long time, and then techno barbarians took over the Earth, and that was called the Age of Strife. Yes, they're like barbarians but techno.
So like when they're attacking you, they're like raging and shit, and just like
Yes.
like, I can get behind that.
But yeah, so that became known as the Age of Strife, which is when Earth was at its suckiest. But then the Emperor came out and was like, all right, time to initiate Operation Pussy Control. And he killed them all. And he said to the masses, hey, I'm now the Emperor of mankind. And they were like, all right.
And the pussy was controlled.
And the pussy was the pussy was controlled. I don't remember writing that either. Yeah, he became the Emperor of mankind, and he renamed Earth to Terra, which we didn't actually write until chapter like 10 of this. This is long, by the way.
Commander
the Emperor.
Time is now. Initiate Operation Pussy.
Initiate Operation Pussy Control. But yeah, so chapter 4, the Emperor does cool things. So the Emperor, when he was killing the techno barbarians, he made these guys called Thunder Warriors, which were big chads, and they killed the techno barbarians. And he went, okay, they suck now, and he killed them all because they sucked, and he made new ones that were cooler, and they were known as the Legiones Astartes, or Space Marines. And Space Marines, as I've written here, they're just humans with extra beef. Imagine the Chad versus the Virgin from the Chad meme. And imagine the Chad is what you'd use for the Virgin. I don't remember. I wrote this like 3 days ago. I don't remember any of this. So the Thunder Warriors are the Chads, right? But they're the virgins of the scenario. Imagine a Chad with more organs and 3 times bigger.
Damn.
But then one day, the Emperor, he hit that age where he's like, man, I wish I had kids. Like,
fair, dude.
Which leads us into the next section written by...
Which I will read, because I wrote those. So we have chapter 5. Look with your eyes! The Primarchs! Alright, so it comes a time in a life of a superhuman badass when he graduates to become a BAD, a badass dad. So, Big E, our main character, decided to create 20 Primarchs. Basically, he had 20 Space Marine legions, and he needed 20 sons to lead each of them. And the sons are...
You know what I said about the Virgin versus Chad, where the Thunder Warriors looked like the Chad, but were the Virgin?
Yeah.
Well, imagine that the Space Marines that are now the Chads became the Virgins, and the Primarchs are the Chads to the Space Marines Virgins.
It's literally just the Virgin versus the Chad techno-barbarians, and then the techno-barbarians.
The human versus the Chad techno-barbarian versus the Thad Thunder Warrior versus the Brad Space Marine versus the Thad 2 Primarchs versus the Bad Emperor.
I think versus the Dad Emperor.
The Dad Emperor.
All right, and then so everything was going good. He made his kids; they were chilling in their little cribs or whatever. And but we didn't mention this beforehand, but the Emperor is kind of like the arch nemesis of what we're gonna call Belle Delphine and the Boy Toys.
Yes, also known as the Chaos Gods.
But yeah, he went into the warp, and he basically fucked them over and gained amazing powers, and they were like, fuck you, Emperor. So they whisked all of his children away. They opened a portal and threw them all in there. And Big E was very sad. So he decided to go on a family field trip to go get back his children. And this was called the Great Crusade.
Yes, it was very important because he wanted his sons.
Also,
And
all of the Space Marines are like so like they're basically the Emperor's grandsons, and the Primarchs are their fathers.
Even though they were born first, it's weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this leads us into
The Primarchs.
the Primarchs.
This is Ray William Lionel Johnson.
Ah.
So we'll how about we do every other Surge?
All right. Yeah.
So you can start.
All right. So this is Lionel Johnson. One of my favorite Primarchs. Yes. He's the Primarch of the Dark Angels. He got stuck on a hellhole jungle planet with all these like rabid beasts, and then there were these Order of Knights led by a guy named Luther, and they were like killing beasts trying to survive, and they found this hulking like child, and they were like, hold on, maybe he can help us. So he grew up. Luther was his like became his dad, and they went on a holy crusade to clear all the planet of the beasts.
Also, I'm just gonna say before we continue, you can definitely tell who wrote what based on how coherent it is. Like Sergio wrote this one because it's coherent.
Yeah, I can tell.
Continue, Serge.
All right, so eventually the Emperor showed up. He was the 11th to be found, and the Emperor was like, "Good job, son. Here's your Space Marine Legion." And Luther was like, "I want to be a Space Marine too." So Luther became a Space Marine. And, Lionel Johnson became one of the Emperor's top Primarchs.
Man, Luther's a Chad.
We also describe, I think it's on everyone, we describe, like, out of the sibling hierarchy, who's what. And Lionel Johnson is the older brother that everyone likes, and he's just a good guy, right?
Yeah, that's fair. I can see that. He looks like a good guy.
And so we'll lead into the next one.
Redacted.
He was the third to be found by the Emperor. We don't know anything about him. He doesn't exist, basically. You know how we said there were 20?
Yeah.
There's 18. And you know how we said there were 20?
Yeah.
There's 21.
Oh, man.
So we'll get to that by the end.
We'll get to that. Yeah, so Redacted. He's redacted from Imperial Records. We know that the two redacted Primarchs did something bad.
Really bad.
And now they don't exist, basically. That's how bad. Even the worst of the Primarchs that we know of still exist. Which means they did something worse than the worst. Who we won't reveal who the worst is, because we're gonna actually have a game where you have to predict who's evil and who's not.
All right, hold on, give me a second. Let me get a Let me get like a sticky note or like a notepad open.
Yeah. So Lionel Johnson, you can decide if he's good or if he's evil. There's 9 good and 9 evil.
Chad Lionel. I'm not even putting him in the evil tier. He's just a Chad.
Okay.
All right. So we got Redacted.
Yeah, Redacted. Redacted isn't part of the. It doesn't count because he's redacted.
Yep.
So you can put him in the redacted tier.
All right. So Redacted is redacted.
Yeah.
All right. So I have redacted in my notes now.
Okay. So the next one, since this one doesn't really count, I'll do the next one, Search.
All right.
So we have Femboy Fulgrim.
Oh.
So Fulgrim was the 5th to be found by the Emperor. He lived on a hellhole mining planet. Everyone starved, and they were making... What does making jack mean? Did you write this?
Like making jack shit, yes.
Jack shit.
Okay. Yeah, everything sucked. And then Fulgrim, came into power and became the governor. And he was known as the Phoenix. And he leads the Emperor's children. Like, the Legion that's, so great that the Emperor was like, yeah, you can name it after me. That's how useful they were. They were great guys. They had a good time. Fulgrim was a great warrior. He's very artsy. He's a bit of a femboy, like we said.
So he's like
he did once own a femboy Hooters, but it was deemed too powerful. So whoever wrote this but used the wrong 2.
Probably you.
He's the younger brother that's a little rebellious. He's a bit of a furry. He partied a lot. He's a scaling, but he's reliable. You know, when things had to die, he killed them.
That's fair.
And that leads us to the next one.
We have Ricket Perturabo. He's the 12th to be found by the Emperor. When he landed on his planet, he instantly knew how to use all technology. Like, you handed him a phone, he knew exactly what kind of parts into it, how to make it. That's his superpower. And
we should say that all of the Emperor's children have of the Primarchs, not of the Emperor's children, the Space Marines. All of the Primarchs have their own special superpowers. Some of them are like vague, like I'm really charismatic and stuff like that. But then some of them are like, yeah, I can't die.
Oh,
all right. So Perturabo, obviously, like he liked to build things. He liked to play with his Legos. You know, he wanted to like build all these things. But his foster father, on whatever hellhole planet he lived on, you'll notice that they all landed on a bunch of hellholes and basically took them over. So his foster father forced him to be a warrior. We wanted to build stuff, and then the Emperor came, and he's like, "Oh, Dad, what am I gonna get to do?" And then the Emperor's like, "You're gonna destroy shit." So he became very resentful of this because him and his legion were destroying stuff, while his other brother, his name is Rogel Dorn, he got to be the build stuff. And nobody really liked him because he was antisocial, and like I said,
he's very much like, I'm just gonna do my own thing. I'm just gonna build my own stuff and just have a good time.
So he's the pure concentrated middle child.
Yes, he has the most middle child energy out of all of the Primarchs, except for maybe the 2 redacteds, but we don't know.
gotcha.
I mean, in general, from what I've listened to videos of like from the books of Perturabo, he's a guy who like landed in like a bad situation. He's trying to make the most of it.
Yeah. But yeah, next is Atari Jaguar Khan, also known as Jagatai Khan. He is the 15th to be found by the Emperor, and boy howdy, does he like going fast!
Damn.
He likes bikes. He drives bikes. He's a car person. He's the Asian representation of the Primarchs, hence the name Jagatai Khan.
Mm-hmm.
His legion known as the White Scars. They also like going fast. They all like bikes. If you're too slow, he won't care. Very loyal to his father. Am I missing anything, Serge?
Being that I literally know barely anything about Jagatai Khan, that basically sums up what I know. So
yeah. Oh, he was friends with he was very close with a lot of his brothers. That's a big one. But next is Sergio.
All right, so they named a battle tank after him, Russ. So this is Lehman Russ, the second founder of the Emperor. He landed on a planet called Fenris, and he's a wolf boy.
Yeah, he was raised by wolves.
Yeah, and his legion's thing is they have a curse called the Wolfen that gives them like wolf characteristics. So he's got like sharp fangs, and some of them to a greater extent get like basically full blown werewolves. Cool. He had a rivalry with his brother Magnus because Magnus was a big nerd, and Russ is the Emperor's executioner. Like the Emperor wants someone dead, you send in Lehman Russ. He's the biggest and one of the strongest.
Gotcha.
We believe he killed the 2 redacted Primarchs.
That would be definitely a way to do it.
Yeah, basically, Scottish Viking dude is what you need to know about Lehman Russ. He's pretty metal.
Oh yeah, he's a cool guy. Yeah, he's like the warrior. Yeah, next we have Master of the Fist, Legion. What who wrote that? Why is it?
You did.
Why did I? No, Matt definitely came up with that name. Shout out to Matt for coming up with these names. Not this one though. This one's dumb. He grew up with a lot of Legos. He likes gold and yellow. He was the 7th to be found by the Emperor. He grew up on an ice planet, but he's good at building, so didn't have that problem, you know. He has a glove that hurts him called the Pain Glove. I'm not joking. That is a real thing he has.
Why does he wear it?
To figure things out. It helps him think.
Yes,
he
I
puts
do
it on.
like to stab myself repeatedly.
One time he really needed to think really hard, so he put on the Pain Glove for a week.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, he consulted a lot. I'm serious about the pain. It's literally, I'm not making up the name. It's called the Pain Glove.
It's not an actual glove.
Yeah. Wait, it is. I didn't know that actually.
Yeah. It's a bodysuit.
Oh, but it's still called the Pain Glove.
Yes.
It's like a glove. Though.
Yeah, he's younger than Perturabo, but he gets cooler things than him, and it makes him a little jealous. But
also, another thing about Rogaldorn is that his foster father, when he died, he took I think it was his coat, and he sleeps with it every night when he goes to bed.
I didn't know that, but that's adorable.
That's sweet.
Yeah. Next we have the edgy one.
All right, so we have Conrad Kurz. He's the edgy one. He's the 16th to be found by the Emperor. So he landed on a planet called Nostromo, which is this fucking horrible crime-infested shithole, and he became Batman, essentially.
Also, I'm really proud of that picture. Please acknowledge it.
I was gonna acknowledge it because it took me a half second to realize that you literally just photoshopped his face on Batman.
No, I didn't even Photoshop it. I literally just made it small and then dragged it onto it. I put no effort into it.
It took me a minute to realize that you did it.
So yeah, he's a happy guy. He has a DeviantArt account that he lurks on. You always want to be unique and cool.
Mm-hmm.
Not really.
Yeah, he's known as the Night Haunter or the Dark Knight.
Yeah, so he was the Night Haunter on Nostromo. And basically, if you committed a crime, Kurz would just kill you. He would just rip you to pieces. And then people on Nostromo was like, we should stop committing crimes. And he cleared everything up. There's a bit of a joke in the fandom that if you littered, if you just dropped your cup can, Kurz would swoop in and cut your head off.
Mm-hmm. He's the little brother who saw The Dark Knight when he was 8, when in theaters, and he was like, "Oh, Batman's so cool. I want to be."
Yeah, and then the Emperor showed up and was like, "Hey, you're my son." And he's like, "I want to be called the Night Hunter." And he's like, "Okay, Night Hunter."
Yes, all right.
Yes,
okay.
Dear. He's not on here, but he leads the Night Lords. He's not exactly liked by a lot of his brothers because he's a
little extreme.
Yeah.
But yeah, next we have the best one.
Okay.
Sanguinius. So Sanguinius is an angel baby. He's so kind and friendly. He's a little angel. Also, he's an angel. Literally an angel. He has angel wings. That's just a thing.
Huh.
If it weren't for the fact that he would be a femboy if he weren't an angel. He's an angel, so that he's not a femboy. It's different.
Can I
and
ask
he leads
why
the Blood Angels, not to be confused with the Dark Angels of Lionel Johnson.
Yes.
Can
What
I
was your
ask
question?
why there's a mean looking burger there?
Heretic burger. Next question.
He hungers for burger.
He does.
It's a pretty good looking burger.
He's adored and loved by literally everyone he meets. He's the best. He's literally the best.
I mean, I can see that. He's
also he's a vampire.
Yeah, as I said, he's like Alucard.
Yeah.
Castlevania.
Yeah, him and his legion have something called the Bloodthirst, which causes them to need to drink blood.
He doesn't really have it that much, but his kids do. The reason that the burger is there is because one of his kids groups is called the Flesh Eaters, and there's a meme video by Breva Alphabusa from If the Emperor Had a Text-to-Speech Device, where it's some of the Flesh Eaters eat orc flesh and start tripping acid because they're like mushrooms, and they hallucinate Sanguinius, and they're like, "It's the Primarch," and then they're like, "Tell us what you most desire, my lord," and he's like, "Hunger for burger," and they start freaking out. I'll send it to you after this.
Please do.
Also, another thing to point out about Space Marines is that if they consume flesh, they gain the memories of the creature.
Yes.
Damn,
they have an organ that lets them do that. Don't ask why. They just do.
That's metal.
But yeah, Sanguinius is the older brother who's just his life's just really good. He's the best one.
Good.
So next we have.
All right, so we have Punch Guy Manus.
If you recognize that picture in the bottom right, I'm sorry.
It's so his name is Ferrus Manus, the Iron Hand, and he leads the Iron Hands. He's all about technology. Most of his legion are cyborgs. He's all about augmenting himself. He's kind of no nonsense, but strangely, he's best friends with Fulgrim. Fulgrim's like the cool artsy one, like the thinker, and then Ferrus Manus I like to beat things up, and Fulgrim's like, all right, bro.
Dude, nice. I'll design. You build something cool, I'll draw a really pretty design on it. They high five. Also, his hands are iron. You didn't mention that. His hands are literally made of iron. That's why he's the Iron Hand.
That makes sense.
And then next,
I like what I wrote about it. Space Marines are called Iron Hands. Hands are also called Iron Hands. Hands are iron. Yeah, I'm sorry if you recognize that picture in the bottom right. I'm sorry. I had to do it.
Is that like Thanos but like butt naked?
Yeah, it's the Thanos pic, the meme where he's just got the giant fucking cock and he's just ass naked.
Is it bad that I want to see this picture?
Just Google Thanos cock and you'll find it.
Damn,
Yeah,
okay.
next is
Give me
the
a
other
second.
redacted. He's redacted.
Yeah, he's just redacted.
Yeah.
And then we have Angron. Tell me when you're done googling Thanos' cock.
Ah, yeah. That's a Titan, all right.
But yeah, next is Angron. 17th motherfucker found. He's fucking pissed. Shut the fuck up. I didn't remember asking. Jesus fucking Christ. He needs therapy. He really needs therapy. He yells a lot. He's really mad. He needs to be
Just
put
like
on
you.
meds. Fuck you.
Oh.
Yeah, he's a middle child also, but he needs therapy. His name is his name is Angron. Like
Yeah.
his name is Angron.
Yeah.
So some information on Angron, because there's none here. So you know how I was saying that all Primarchs land on shitholes?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he got World War Hulked in the fact that he landed on a gladiator planet.
Yeah,
And,
they put
he got
a thing
these
in
things-
his brain. Yeah,
Yeah, the butcher's nails that make him very angry, and he led a gladiator revolt like Spartacus, and it was going to be a suicide mission. All him and his buddies were going to die gloriously, but the Emperor was like, "Son," and he beamed him up, and all of Angron's friends died, and Angron was very angry. He didn't get to die with them, and he was put in charge of the World Eaters, and yeah, they were very brutal. I wouldn't say as brutal as the Night Lords, but like you wouldn't want to meet the World
They're
Eaters
close,
in
yeah.
combat.
Yeah. They all the World Eaters also got the Butcher's Nails that made him mad. And what the Butcher's Nails do is they literally just you get like random bursts if you're just really mad and you're like, I need to kill something. I'm fucking pissed. Which is why it's
Okay.
all in capitals and angry.
Yeah. I get you.
All right, next we have the main character. This is Rhubarb Girly Man of
What's with the
Rat-Vale
big titted
Gallimar.
woman in the bottom?
Yeah, his name is Rubute Gilliman, but we call him
Oh.
Rhubarb Girly Man.
Yeah, so he's the 8th Primarch. His legion is the Ultramarines, also known as the Mary Sues or the Blueberries, because they're the main characters, and they basically can do no wrong. They do a lot of really cool things.
Yeah, the army I own are Ultramarines.
Yeah, it's not that the Ultramarines as a concept are bad, as you get these writers who just jerk off all over them and turn them into these
like the second coming of Christ in Space Marine form.
So good old Rhubarb, he landed on a planet called Ultramar. It's basically like Rome. His mom is thick, as you can see in the bottom right.
Yeah,
There's an artist rendition.
I asked who that big titted woman was.
Yeah, that is the Mommy Gilliman.
Man, nervous.
Basically, he became a really nice politician. He's also a badass warrior, and he likes to write books.
Mm-hmm.
He's the only person who isn't the Emperor to wield the Emperor's sword, if that shows anything.
Yes, he is also he made his own empire out of Ultramar, 500 planets, and the Emperor showed up and was really impressed.
That was before the Emperor showed up, and the Emperor was like, "Holy shit!"
And also, the Emperor was hearing stories of Gilliman's empire as he was trying to get to him.
He was like, "This guy's one of my kids," and they were like, "My lord, are you sure?" And he's like,
Dude, do you think my kid would not just rule over like 500 planets?
Yeah,
I'm the goddamn emperor.
That's one thing he has in common with Magnus, who I think is next. I'm not sure.
No, Magnus is two away.
Okay, but him and Magnus both really like books. Gilliman wrote a book. It was an important book that we'll get into. But
Gotcha.
Some people don't like the book, but some people really like the book. Like, it's either like a 2 out of 5 on Amazon, or it's like a 5 out of 5 on Borders.com. Is Borders still a thing? You cannot read the book.
Borders went out of business.
Okay, Barnes and Noble. But
Yeah.
they actually have never published a book because they don't want to. Basically, they can just be like, "This is a rule in the book," but if they publish the book, then they'll have to establish every rule, and they can't just add new rules to the book as they write things. So they purposefully keep it vague, so they can just be like, "Oh, this is in the book," Does that make sense?
I get you.
Like in universe, it's a real book, but in our world, in the human real life world,
In the material plane, it is.
yes, it doesn't exist. But yeah.
Gotcha.
So next is more Sergio. Next is
Huh?
you're next.
Oh, okay. So this is
Or wait, am I next?
you're next. I read Gilliman.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Well, next we have Mortarion the Stinky. Mortarion doesn't shower. He's a good guy though. He's friends with Conrad, the Batman guy.
Yeah. That makes sense.
He's really loyal to his brother Horace, who we haven't gotten to yet. But he leads the Death Guard, which are formerly known as the Dusk Raiders. He has a really big scythe. He's no nonsense. He can't get sick, and he's immune to all toxins.
Mhm.
He was about to die. He's the only one who didn't take over the planet that he was raised on, besides Angron. And he was about to die, and then the Emperor was like, "Yeah, I got you, bro."
And like Angron, he wasn't happy about that.
But yeah, he's Mortarion. Kind of needs to shower, but cool guy.
All right, we have Magnus. He's red. He's Magnus the Red. He has
His
one
name
eye.
is Magnus the Red.
Oh, he's also a big boy. He's probably one of the largest.
Yeah. He's the one that also likes books.
Yeah, so he's a sorcerer. Him and his legion, the Thousand Sons, they all have what's known as psychers. They have psychic powers.
Yeah, the
magic.
people. You remember when we talked about the warp? But the warp. People who use the warp are known as psychers. They use it to make magic, basically.
Mm-hmm.
It's very easy to get overtaken by the warp and become like a demon or like get fucked over. So it's very like his actions of using the warp is very heavily debated by the fandom because like the warp is like a very tough thing to use without dying. But because obviously he's a Primarch, so he doesn't really have any problems with it. But like his sons like need to be careful.
Yeah. So he didn't get along with Lehman Russ because they're kind of opposite sides of the spectrum. Conrad Kurz, he was also annoyed by him. There was one instance where they were trying to get a world into the Imperium, and there was a library, and Magnus was like, "Brother, we have to keep the library," and the Kurz was like, "No, it's got a bunch of heretical knowledge in it, and it must be destroyed. It's what Father would have wanted." And Magnus is like, "No, please, I'll do anything." And Kurz ended up just burning the library down while Magnus watched in horror.
Yeah, Magnus really likes books.
Fair.
And his legion has a problem called the Flesh Change, where randomly they will just transform into hideous mutant beasts, similar to something called Chaos Spawn.
Yeah, or dust. Sometimes they just become dust.
So why do they have this though?
It's because the reason that this happens is because they're so connected to the warp because they're psychers that sometimes the warp just like turns them into fucky wuckies.
It's a genetic defect. Some of the legions just have these mutations and genetic problems.
Oh yeah, like how we said that Lehman Russ's boys turn into wolves,
or like the Bloodthirst with Sanguinius. All right, so we have the best one, the best boy.
Yes, he's the first son of the Emperor. He's the oldest child, the oldest one, the Emperor's favorite. He's honestly, legitimately, he's a legend. He's so great that the Emperor put him as his second in command. Like,
is this the laser eye guy?
No, that's he's like a normal Space Marine. That's Commissar Yarrick.
No, Commissar Yarrick's a regular dude.
Yeah, so he was the first Primarch, Emperor's favorite child. Became War Master, which is basically like General of the Army.
Gotcha.
Him and his dad took on the largest Orc Wog the Imperium has ever seen. An Orc Wog is a group of orcs, basically.
Mm-hmm.
When a big group of orcs fighting for the same cause is called a Wog, and this was the biggest one ever.
Yeah, we're talking there were orcs the size of Primarchs.
Damn.
Which a normal Space Marine is anywhere from like 7 feet to 8 feet tall, and the Primarchs are bigger than that.
Damn, big boy.
Yeah, and when he became War Master, he got to rename his Legion after himself, the Sons of Horus, instead of a dumb name like Moondogs or something dumb like that.
They were the Luna Wolves, not to be confused with the Space Wolves, led by Lehman Russ.
Yeah, it's weird that the first 3 Primarchs that were found,
they're all based on wolves.
Wolf, and Redacted. We can assume that the redacted is like the corgi fuckers or something.
Why would you call them the corgi fucker? It's like, yes, you are the lunar wolves. You are also
The
something
space
about
wolves.
You are the space wolves. You are the corgi fuckers.
Well, what do you think is redacted for a reason? But yeah, he
Oh,
had a
that's
really
fair.
successful first captain named Zeke, who had a
That's
lot of
him on
great
the
crusades.
left with the top knot.
Yeah,
Zeke will become important later.
he will. Yeah, Horace is the oldest brother, like just the
Gotcha.
oldest one. Dad's favorite. Gets him beers a lot. The usual.
You know, he's
Yeah,
got
next-
super white teeth. Smiling.
Next we have Sergio.
Okay, so unfortunately we have to talk about Lorgar Aurelian, the worst.
Sorry,
He is
I hate him.
he's one of the worst fictional characters ever made in the history of ever. So he's a religious supercuck. You probably can't tell in this picture, but he's got religious scripture tattooed on his face. He was diddled by his adopted father, Fanon. Fanon basically was like, "Yo, religion and whatnot." And like the emperor is super against religion. He leads an atheistic imperium. He's like, no, you can't be worshiping any gods, science, reason, or whatever.
Yeah, basically he
Religion,
considers religion to be like a super like elitist inductive cult
So
that is like a hindrance on society.
so
Yeah.
the-
Also, he doesn't want anyone worshiping the chaos gods because they're his arch enemies.
And they also fuck you up. What was your question?
Is the emperor not a god?
No, the emperor is a man.
It's just a man that's really fucking tall.
He's a man who has the powers and abilities of a god.
Gotcha.
He is not a god.
Listen, Michael. He's like 50 foot tall. He wears golden armor. He's got a flaming sword.
He's not a god though.
He's not a god though. Oh, he
Yeah, he's
also
not a god,
radiates.
though.
He radiates golden light.
He can literally command an entire like 10,000 group of people to kneel at his word. But he's not a god.
Gotcha.
Oh, also he can heal people by touching them, and also he fix machines by touching them. He's not a god.
Not a god though.
Gotcha.
Yeah, who
All
cares
right.
when he was found because he's Horus or he's
Yeah,
Lorgar.
he's fucking
Not Horus. Horus
Lorgar.
is a goodbye.
All
Goodbye.
right, so there's something important that happened with Lorgar that we have to talk about. So Lorgar started writing a book called the Lectitio Divinatus, and he was like, the Emperor is a god, and all the planets he was taking over for the Imperium, he was like making churches and building statues, and the Emperor wasn't happy about this, so he got Gilly Boy to burn all of them down, and then he put all of them in a big timeout.
Yeah, you remember the naughty pit?
Oh my god. Yeah.
So Lorgar got put in the naughty pit basically.
no.
Yeah, he spoke the words kneel. They all got on the ground, and then he yelled Lorgar so loud that they all fell over and got concussions. But Lorgar got up and he was like,
legitimately.
"Yeah." Lorgar was like, "You're a god," and he's just like, "Shut the fuck up, son."
God damn it, dude! What? How many times do I have to tell you no? Yeah, next.
Fucking voice. Oh my god.
Luckily, next we have
that's
Brother Vulcan.
Dude, that's
He
a
lives-
fucking mega chad.
Hold on, let's just Sergio, if we could just Vulcan lives.
Vulcan lives.
I punched my desk really hard. I'm sorry. Desk.
Yeah, I heard that.
6 to be found by the Emperor. He's the friendliest Primarch, like legitimately, not even as like a meme. Like the like Jamaican accent Vulcan is like a meme from the Emperor, the text-to-speech device, where he talked like this all the time. But he's legitimately like the nicest Primarch. Like some Primarchs don't really care about humans. Like it's very iffy on person to person. But like Vulcan and his sons, the Salamanders, are like, yo, keep all the humans safe. Like they're all important.
What a mega chad. I love him.
Yeah, he enjoys smashing Xenos and burning them with his legion of salamanders who are fireproof. They're also black. I don't mean black as in black. I mean black as in like charcoal.
And they have
As
red
you can
eyes.
see from the picture, they have bright red eyes and they are pure black, like midnight ash black.
Mm.
He's a blacksmith. He protects his world from the dark elves, the dark Eldar. And he's also, like I said, he's immortal. When I talked about superpowers, he cannot die. When he dies, he just comes back.
Yeah, Vulcan is a mega chad.
Which is where the Vulcan lives meme comes from. Because Vulcan can die, but he just comes back immediately. And they're like, Vulcan lives!
Mega chad.
There's not much to talk about with Vulcan. He's just Vulcan. He fought orcs. He fought what was known as the Beast, which was like the biggest orc. Yeah. Next we have our boy.
Who came rapping at Corvus Corax's door. As you can see, he has a very luscious black hair. As if you go look up a picture of the Emperor,
Yeah,
he's got nice hair.
Does.
So this is his name is Corvus?
Yes,
Corvus Corax.
Got it.
He's basically Edgar Allan Poe. He leads the Raven Guard. They're invisible to psychers. Like, psychers cannot detect their mental presence. He's the Knight and Vengeance.
He's also Batman, but he's like real Batman, not like Conrad. Like I'm gonna rip you apart. If Conrad is like the Batman v Superman Batman, Corvus Corax is definitely like Michael Keaton, or like Christian Bale, I guess, more so.
Okay, so it's like the true Batman.
Yeah, or like the animated series Batman. He's the animated series Batman.
So he's like the real Batman, and then Conrad Kurz is like the Batman who kills.
Yeah, the Batman v Superman Batman.
Yeah, the out of character Batman. Gotcha.
Yeah, continue, Sergio.
Like all other Primarchs, he's playing with shit. He took it over. He's good friends with Ferrus, Manus, and Vulcan, and he thinks Conrad, Horus, and Perturabo are a bunch of cockmonglers.
He just doesn't get along with them. He just reads his poetry and is like, "You guys just don't understand me, okay? It's just."
I feel like I could stand, but Perturabo is like. I feel like I sympathize a little too much with Perturabo, so I can't think he's a cockmonger.
Yeah. Finally, we have Alfarius Omegon. He was found last. Horus found him actually. His origins are unknown. He leads the Alpha Legion. We don't really know anything about the Alpha Legion.
They're sneaky boys.
Yeah, he has a twin named Omegon. So not only is he the 20th Primarch, he's also the 21st Primarch.
And he's the size of a regular Space Marine. He's the shortest.
Yes, they are both the shortest of the Primarchs. They're identical twins. The theory is that when the Chaos Gods whisked the Primarchs away, they're like egg. There's zygote split into two or something.
Like their souls split into two beings, literally.
Yeah, and they have a rivalry. They both do with Robbie G and Mortarion. Most of his legionaries had plastic surgery to look like him, and they were calling themselves Alfarius before he was even found. We don't really know how they knew his name was Alfarius, because the Emperor didn't really name them. They were named by their adoptive parents. So there's a theory that the Alpha Legion might be semi-hive mind. We're not really sure.
They are their emblem is the Hydra. So
yeah,
potentially.
Okay. Hail Hydra.
Yeah, that's all 20/21/18/19.
Gotcha.
So, guess who is the loyal and guess who is the traitors.
Okay, so I already forgot most of their names. So this is why I have the notepad open.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna start moving things around. So I'm gonna start from the top and work my way down, and then say who I think is where. Clearly the Chad Lionel and the Chad.
So we can
yeah.
If you
the
need
Chad
names.
Lionel, he's definitely not a traitor.
Yes.
The next person,
Redacted's
redacted for a reason.
Yeah.
Yep.
Next.
Fulgrim. He's obviously not a traitor because he has a legion called the Emperor's Children. So, yeah. Perturabo, I think, is not a traitor. He's resentful, but I feel like he's, like, okay.
All right.
Khan is... I'm pretty sure you said he's loyal, so...
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I gave that one away a little bit. Sorry about that.
Yeah, he's loyal.
Uh-huh.
Russ, obviously loyal.
Uh-huh. You know, he kind of looks like, God, what's his name? The guy that's in, The Boys.
Yeah,
Carl Urban?
Yeah, he looks like Carl Urban in this picture, doesn't he?
I listed
Yeah,
him as I listed him as Russ Pogchamp. So
he's pretty PogChamp.
he is pretty
next.
PogChamp.
Rogelborn.
Dorn. I just have him as Dorn. I feel like he is not a traitor. Next,
Conrad.
I feel like he's a traitor.
Sanguinius.
Not a traitor, obviously. He's too cool.
Because he's the best one.
Exactly.
Right. Ferris Manus.
Traitor.
Redacted is redacted. Angron.
Traitor.
That's an easy one, to be fair.
Yeah.
I will give you. I will just say yes. He's a traitor. That's a really fucking easy one.
He's Angie. He can't be a traitor.
Rabute Gilliman.
How can a protagonist not be, not a traitor?
That's fair. Mortarion the Stinky.
He's obviously a traitor. He's too stinky.
Magnus.
I literally had Mortarion as sus.
What about Magnus?
I think Magnus is a Chad. I've listed him as Magnus Burnsides. He is a Chad. So I'm gonna say he is not a traitor.
Best boy Horus.
Obviously not a traitor. He's the favorite.
Lorgar.
Fuck you, Logar. He's
is that your answer?
Yes.
Vulcan.
He has 3 hearts next to his name in my notes, so he's obviously not a traitor.
Corvus Corax.
Not a traitor.
And Alfarius / Omegon.
Alpharad is a traitor.
Alpharad. What about his brother?
I just want to note, I just listed in his notepad, in my notepad, as Alpharad. As for his brother, his twin brother, I'm also going to say traitor just to try and round out, because I already forgot who is and who isn't. Yeah,
all right. They will be revealed momentarily. As this goes on, you will figure out who it is. You did get some wrong, and you did get some right.
That's fair.
Yeah, so Chapter 6 shall finally begin. Sergio,
yes, I will start us off. So the Primarchs fuck things up. It's Chapter 6. So what happened was, remember that big orc wall that we talked about, that Horus and the Emperor did?
Yep.
So the Emperor was like, Horus, you're the War Master. Keep taking planets over, and fighting the good fight. And I'm gonna go get some milk.
Yeah, I need to get some cigarettes. I'll be back, son.
Yeah. So the Emperor went on his walk to go get some milk, and back on Terra, and everyone wasn't very happy about this. And Lorgar, because he's fucking Lorgar, he was very angry, and his top. Erebus.
What was the term originally? It was his top admiral, Sergio wrote, and I was like, it would be funnier, and I just removed admiral and I just put his top.
yeah, it was top's cocksucker. So Erebus.
Oh yeah.
Erebus was a word bearer, and on their planet, Erebus found out about Belle Delphine and the boy toys and started worshiping them, and he was like, Lorgar, like me, you can suck cock. And meanwhile, while Fulgrim was putting down some snaky boys on a planet, he found a sword, and the sword was like, dude, I'll make your penis work again. And he was like,
whoa.
Sure.
Because Space Marines don't have working penises.
Oh, I was about to ask, is that like actually what happened?
Yeah. Well, no, so he killed all these snake guys, and there was this like really shiny sword, and the sword was middle. Like glowing and going like, I am a sword, I am not evil.
And he was all, hell yeah, bro.
And he was like, oh, cool sword, and he grabbed it.
I'd also like to point out that like the Snaky boys were worshiping Belle Delphine, and like it was in the middle of their like temple, and Fulgrim like he had blinders on. He just saw this sword and was like, oh hell yeah, bro. Oh, I should also point out that the Emperor thought it would be a good idea to not tell anyone about Chaos whatsoever. So nobody knows about Belle Delphine and the boy toys.
Gotcha.
All right. So meanwhile, Horus got game ended. Like seriously game ended. He was hurt. So Erebus sent him a DM from Belle Delphine and the boy toys. And after Horus got out of his DMs, he was a cocksucking man just like Lorgar, and wanted to find other Primarchs like him who like to suck cock.
So there's two of your incorrect guesses. Horus and Fulgrim are traitors.
Horus,
along with fucking Lorgar.
I wrote Flugrim is okay. And Horus, where did I put Horus? Oh, I had Horus Best Boy.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
he's a traitor?
Unfortunately, he got sucked into the cock-sucking DMs for like 6,000 years.
No,
Because he basically in canon he got sucked into the warp, and since time doesn't move into the warp, he just was stuck for like thousands of years when it was actually like a few seconds. And so he just like slowly corrupted in the warp for like thousands of years, and then came out and was like, "All right, boys, let's start auto-fellatioing."
no.
Yeah, Chapter 7,
The cocksuckers assemble.
Yeah, do you want me to take this one?
Yeah.
But yeah, so a group of Xenos were like, yo, so the Emperor wants you to, there's these guys called Chaos, and the Emperor wants to kill Chaos, right? And so Chaos, if the Emperor keeps doing what he's doing, he's gonna die, and everything's gonna lose because Chaos. But if you start believing in Chaos and then kill all the humans, Chaos will fall.
Cease to exist.
And then Alfarius is like, hell yeah, I believe that. And then Omegon was like, dude, that's stupid.
Dude, that's sus, dude.
So you were half right with your guess on Alfarius, because Alfarius is evil, but Omegon is not.
Gotcha.
Conrad Kurz is progressive, and he was like, you know what? Sucking cock's okay. Like, you can suck cock.
Uh-huh.
And then he joined up with Horus, because Horus is a cocksucker. And then
Oh,
Mortarius...
this is supposed to be Typhus, not Typhon. I'll fix that real quick.
Yeah. But yeah, Mortarion, his first captain, Typhus, was a gout priest of Darkside Phil, and told his legion the wonders of sucking cock and not showering. Mortarion was also told by Horus that the Emperor was a sorcerer, like his dad, that he didn't get to kill. And he was like, fuck it. Ram Ranch time.
18 naked.
And Fulgrim got his ribs removed so he could suck his own cock.
18 naked Primarchs waiting to be fucked.
That's a thing. That's an actual video.
Oh god.
But yeah, Perturabo, I'm sorry, Perturabo's middle child syndrome flared, and Horus told him that they could be friends and he get to play with his Legos. But Perturabo didn't really want to suck cock.
That's okay. I like how this entire thing is just like, do you want to suck dick or no? And they're just like, yeah, no,
right. I'll try it.
I'm good with not sucking dick. And then there's some people who are like,
yeah, so Perturabo joined the cocksuckers, but not to suck cock. He just wanted friends. Honestly,
I feel like there needs to be like, I don't want to have a shirt that says I'm a cocksucker, but like
I'm a cocksucking man. And it's the chaos symbol.
Oh yeah, so Chaos Space Marines are known by the general title of CSM, which has led to the moniker of cocksucking men, which is the joke here.
CSM stands for Chaos Space Marines, but CSM also stands for cocksucking men.
I love it. I love it.
So Horus nearly had all of his cocksuckers assembled. Magnus found out. And he was like, I need to go tell Dad. But I'm not strong enough with my mental powers to get to him from all the way to Terra from my home planet. So Ben Shapiro came in and went, imagine you use these powers to become more powerful. And imagine you can speak to your dad using the warp. And imagine I can give you these powers if you just swear yourself to me. And the Magnus is like, all right. And so he uses his powers to get through this weird wall blocking for him from Terra, right? To talk to his dad, to tell him that Horus is a cocksucking man. Well, it turns out that wall was there because it was a wall into the psychic freeway in the warp called the Webway. And Magnus just broke it and unleashed a fucking huge amount of demons and fucking absolute hell on Terra.
And also, the Emperor outlawed psychic powers because he was trying to keep the warp away from everybody.
Yeah, which was why the stuff with Magnus and the warp is so like controversial, because the Emperor said that it's bad, even though the Emperor uses the warp, but the Emperor is the Emperor.
Gotcha.
And so the Emperor is like, Magnus! And sends Lehman Russ to go get Magnus, but since Lehman Russ doesn't know Horus is evil, and the Emperor also doesn't know Horus is evil, Horus is like, just kill him. Just kill Magnus. And Lehman Russ is like, all right. And so Lehman kills Magnus, but Ben Shapiro goes, sorry, liberal. He's mine.
You're banned.
And Magnus transforms into the turbo conservative and becomes a demon prince, an immortal demon that is a direct servant of the chaos god that he is a worshiper of. So Tzeentch, in real terms, Tzeentch turned Magnus into a demon prince.
Gotcha.
And now Magnus thinks that the Emperor had Leman Russ kill him. So now he joins Horus to suck cock. Now a demon prince.
All right, so I'll read this next one, which is the good guys proceed to get their asses handed to them. So Horus realizes that there's a lot of parts of his legion that don't like to suck cock. So he kills most of them, but a Death Guard captain named Garo escaped. Remember Zeke? Yeah. Zeke let him go by accident. So
Also,
Garo,
Zeke is now like top tier super cocksucker, and he's now going by his last name, Abaddon the Despoiler.
Yeah, he's an edge boy.
The only reason we didn't put him in as Abaddon the Despoiler is because if you see that Horus's second in command is named Abaddon the Despoiler, you can guess that they're evil.
Yeah, so Garo manages to reach Rogel Dorn, and Rogel Dorn proceeds to choke the living shit out of him because he doesn't believe him. But this reporter's like Rogel, he's telling the truth, and Rogel's like, all right. So obviously, this is a problem. So DSP tries to send demons and what are known as plague marines, which are marines that give themselves over to DSP, and they start fucking their bellies distend, and they get all big and pussy and gross.
In the 40k role playing game, because 40k is a bunch of different games, and only one of them is a role playing game. Well, some of them are role playing games, but the most recent one is called Wrath and Glory. Sergio and I were reading through it together because I bought it, and in the rule book for Wrath and Glory, the way that they describe the Plague Marines are that they grow roughly 5% in size and anywhere from 2 to 3 times in width, and all of their organs start pouring out, and they rot away, and they become smelly.
Ew.
Yes.
So Garo, because he's a bit of a badass, he kills them, and then the Emperor's best friend, his name is Malcador, is like, you need to form an Inquisition. You have to form an Inquisition.
Well, he doesn't call it an Inquisition. He says, go get some really cool people to form a super party.
Yeah. So Horus realizes that the traitors don't have the numbers to actually fight all of the good guys, so he sends them far away from Terra and into the hands of their enemies,
because they don't know that only Rogel Dorn knows he's evil at this point.
Yeah. So then the Horus organizes what's called the Drop Site Massacre. So the legions that were good guys decided to go and beat the shit out of Horus, and they had a bunch of backup from Kurz and Fulgrim.
Yeah, the people that are evil.
Yeah, and as soon as they deployed, they turned on them. Fulgrim having the excellent, one of my favorite quotes from Warhammer, which is, "Behold my Emperor's children, and these are the wonderful sounds they make." And they had outfitted themselves with sonic weaponry, so they were fucking liquefying people's insides and blowing them up with sound.
Also, at this point, Fulgrim has become possessed by Belle Delphine, ? We don't really know who possesses him.
It's a demon. It was a demon that was inside the sword.
Yeah, there was a demon in the sword that possessed him.
All right,
now he's kind of Fulgrim, but kind of not.
All right, so I'd also like to point out before this happened, Fulgrim tried to convince Ferrus Manus to suck cock, but Ferrus Manus beat the shit out of Fulgrim. It was like, never see you again.
Because he's got those big ass iron hands.
Yeah, and Ferrus was like, if I ever see you again, I'm going to kill you. Well, Fulgrim and Ferrus Manus saw each other again, and Fulgrim realized for a second of what he was doing, but his hands kept moving, and he cut off Ferrus Manus' head.
His best friend, by the way.
Sad.
And Fulgrim got very sad about it, but only for a little bit, because he's possessed.
Yes, and then Korax was gravely wounded, and Vulcan died. But he lives!
Also, before we continue, there's a really good fan fiction-ish thing that maybe we'll do a Fanon Friday on, called the Theoreticus Heresy, which is a alternative universe version of this, written by a guy named 40k Theories. This, by the way, this whole event is called the Horus Heresy for obvious reasons. But it's a Horus Heresy where all the good guys are bad guys and all the bad guys are good guys.
And Morgar becomes a cool character.
Yeah, and the scene where Fulgrim kills Ferrus Manus kills Fulgrim instead. Holy shit. It's so cool. Because neither of them are possessed. They're just like, they have to fight and they don't want to, but they have to. And Fulgrim is like choking out Ferrus Manus. And Ferrus Manus like touchingly like embraces Fulgrim's head and is like, I'm sorry. And then just crushes his fucking skull with his iron hands. Which is awesome. Sorry, I was cleaning my glasses. You can continue now, Sergio.
All right. So, like I said, so the Emperor's children are now fully into Belle Delphine. They're noise marines, and also at this point, Ben Shapiro fucked over the Thousand Sons and started activating the flesh chain. So they were all turning into these creatures. So without Magnus's permission, one of his sorcerers did a spell called the Rubric, which turned all of the Thousand Sons who weren't psychers into dust, sealed inside their armor. So they are now Rubric Marines.
Which is cool, by the way. I
love Rubric Marines.
Rubric Marines are super cool. The Chaos Marines, for what they are awesome.
So are the Rubric Marines like kind of like is it Alphonse from Full Metal Alchemist?
That's a pretty good description, honestly.
Yeah,
I don't remember names because it's been a while since I watched Full Metal.
Yeah. If you breach the armor of a Rubric Marine, the sand will fall out and they'll stop moving, but you can put it back in.
Cool.
Yeah. So Chapter 9, the bad guys get their asses kicked. Horus sends Lorgar and his Altar Boys and Angron and his Angry Boys to wipe out the Blueberries, the Ultramarines, and fail spectacularly. Also, we didn't cover this. I don't know why. Angron also falls to chaos. The Blood God, Khorne, goes, yo, dog, you want to be angry? And Angron goes, dude, I love the irate gamer. And so Angron, the angriest one imaginable, is now in direct control by the angriest god imaginable. So, that's good.
Yeah, so the Angie Boys.
But yeah, so Rhubarb tries to kill Lorgar, but it's stopped by Angron, who Lorgar casts a ritual on and turns him into the Demon Prince of the Irate Gamer. Which is, he basically becomes this giant fuck you demon with giant dual axes.
Kind of cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it's awesome. Khorne and Angron are my favorite Chaos Marines, and then it's second to Magnus. But yeah. So Gilly Boy has to retreat, and then Fulgrim gives Perturabo the suck, and not the dick sucking kind, the soul sucking kind, and transforms into a demon prince for Belle Delphine.
He's a snaky boy now.
Perturabo survives, but he's like, oh, I thought you guys wanted to be friends with me. And then I think, does he become a demon prince yet?
Perturabo, not yet.
Not yet. Spoilers, he becomes a demon prince too. But just for an undivided one. But Vulcan turns out to be captured by Conrad, who keeps killing him a bunch. And then Vulcan escapes. Because he's like, hey, brother friend, you are being very mean right now, so I am leaving. And then Corvus heals and then goes to Terra to help Rogel Dorn with the defenses. Because, we didn't write this down, the Emperor goes, hey, Rogel, you're the builder guy, right? And he goes, yes, father, I am. Hold on, let me get my best TTS Rogel Dorn impression. Yes. And the Emperor goes, can you build me a new Imperial Palace? Make it gold. You like gold. I like gold too. Make it gold and have a bunch of skulls, but also make it really defensive. And then Rogel goes, yes. And goes to Terra to build the Imperial Palace.
All right. So I'll take the next one, which is the bad guys. The bad guys can't stop getting their asses kicked. All right. So, So Horus sent Sanguinius to a planet filled with irate gamer demons, but Sanguinius, he's our motherfucking king. And there's this big, huge demon prince, a bloodthirster, and he challenges Sanguinius to a wrestling match. And Sanguinius kicks his ass
because he's Sanguinius.
Yeah.
And
meanwhile,
Sanguinius is loyal because he's a good boy.
Meanwhile, Lorgar creates something called the Ruin Storm, a big warp storm that cuts off most of the galaxy from Terra. Basically, Gilly Boy and the Blueberries are cut off from everybody. But they make a beacon, and Lionel and Sanguinius make it to Blueberry HQ. Kurz, on the other hand, who was trying to take out Lionel, he chases Lionel to Ultramar, and Kurz basically starts like fucking becoming a serial killer and attacking them. But Lionel smacks him in the face with his Johnson, claps his cheeks, and curses out of commission.
It's Johnson. We misspelled Johnson again, by the way. We keep misspelling it.
All right, and so Gilliman thought Terra had fallen, so he made a second Imperium and made Sanguinius the Emperor. And then the storm cleared up, and they realized that they were traitors for a second, so they just kind of forgot about that.
Yeah, they were like, never mind, we're good.
Yeah, so, and also, SYTYCFanon was really iffy on whether or not he wanted to suck cock, but he decided not to.
That's fair.
Yeah, so Jagatai is loyal, because he's just like, cock's kind of gross, I guess.
Yeah, and meanwhile, so Alfarius was using his sneaky voice, mess with the good guys, but Omegon was like, no, let's not do this, and he was messing that up and blaming on the loyalists. And then Omegon was like, hey, Alfarius, could you go take Pluto? And Alfarius was like, sure. And then Omegon, he got on the speed dial, and he called up Rogaldorn, and was like, yo, I heard the Alpha Legions on their way to Pluto. So Rogaldorn, he cut off Alfarius' hands, and then cut off his head.
Yeah, so basically what happened is Alfarius was like, beep, boop, 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 boop. And then Rogaldorn got on the phone and went, yes. Hey, this is Alfarius. I'm coming to take Pluto. Come kill me. And then Rogaldorn went, yes. And then he hung up.
Yeah, and then Horus called up Alfarius because he was like, I want to talk to my sneaky boy. And Omegon got on the phone and was like, yeah, this is Alfarius. What's going on, Horus?
Yeah, because no one knows about Omegon. It's debatable if the Emperor even knew about Omegon. Like, that's how secretive Omegon was. So he was pretending to be Alfarius, and then everyone just had no idea, because, it's Alfarius, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are the odds Alfarius is a twin brother?
Yeah.
Not high.
All right, next slide.
Did I mention that the cop-suppers keep getting their asses handed to them?
Yeah.
So Horus got tired of getting his ass kicked, and he was like, everyone, we need to chill, right? Perturabo, just go get Angron, please. And then Perturabo was like, dude, you're stinky. Go find Angron. And then, as it turns out, even though you have to go get Angron, and just shoot him. Sergio, what does this sentence mean?
Oh, okay. So, So basically, what happened is that Perturabo had to go into the warp because when you become a demon prince, you get your own demon planet in the warp. And there was a son of Horus who pledged his life to DSP, and he's like, dude, if you just give in to DSP, you can defeat Angron. And Perturabo was like, ugh, gross, and he blew him up. Because if you notice from the picture, Perturabo's got a super armor with a bunch of guns, and so he goes. And he finds Angron's planet, and Angron isn't going to leave without a fight. And you know how Gilliman like had to leave? Well, Gilliman didn't know if you have a bunch of guns, demon princes fall pretty easily. So Perturabo just shot the shit out of Angron. And Angron was like, "Oh, fine, I'll come."
Gilliman was like, we can't shoot him," and then Perturabo was like, "Huh? What?" Yeah, so Fulgrim stops drinking the bathwater and rejoins with Horus because
he was also on his own planet, just kind of doing his own thing.
And then Conrad, who fucking knows?
Yeah, he was AFK.
Yeah, he accidentally logged off the Minecraft server for a bit. And then Horus, with mostly everyone, was like, "All right, guys, let's go get Terra. We have the Alpha Legion with us, right?" So Omegon logged off the Minecraft server because he doesn't want to be a cocksucker.
Got it.
So midway to Terra, Typhus gives a Death Guard Gout AIDS. Because because Mortarion hadn't become a Gout Lord yet.
Mm-hmm.
And so Mortarion is like, we're all dying. Oh god, this is horrible. And then Darkside Phil goes, "Oh, come on, dude. You just gotta join me and your guards will stop dying." Oh, and so he's like, all right, fine. So he becomes a Gout Lord.
And they all become Plague Marines.
And then Horus is like, "Yo, Alfarius, you coming, bro?" And then Alfarius in quotation marks, Omegon goes, "No. All right, bye," and then just leaves.
See ya.
And that comes to where the Emperor
Chapter 10
is all this, because all this is happening like middle of buttfuck nowhere, basically. Meanwhile, the
Yeah.
Emperor is on Terra, just like, god damn it, my fucking kids.
All right, so remember how we said that Magnus broke the Emperor's warp highway? Well, it created that big hole we were talking about. So, the Emperor hopped on this thing called the Golden Throne, which amplified his power, and using not holy light, just some
not
light.
holy because he's not a god.
Yes,
Emperor light.
So he proceeded to summon specters of all deceased space marines and the ghost of Ferrus Menace, and also he was
a giant fucking flaming sword. That's super cool.
Yeah, and also this light immediately kills demons, but he's not a god.
Yeah.
But he needs to sit on the throne to keep the hole closed, and Malkador decides to do it in front of him because Horus is here, and it's time to assemble the boys.
Yeah, so the Emperor's like, yo, Malkador, I'll change your name legally to Malkador the Hero if you sit on the throne while I go kill my son. And Malkador goes, let's go! Because he wants to be a hero.
That's fair.
But yeah,
All right,
so
we have-
chapter 11, the semi-final battle. Horus and the cocksuckers show up to the Imperial Palace. And Angron is like, "Yo, can you surrender now?" Except it was Angron, so it was more like ah. And then they were about to surrender, and then Sanguinius came out of his non-holy light because again, no one's a god, but he's an angel, so he bestows himself upon the battlefield and goes, "Fuck you, Angron," and then Angron just kind of leaves. And then he goes and he backs up Jagatai and Rogel Dorn, and they fight off the cocksuckers and that bloodthirster from earlier. And they had the bloodthirster that Sanguinius fought Sanguinius, and then Sanguinius went, "I will break your mind and your spirit," and broke its back and banished it back into the warp. And then after 2 months of conflict,
Yeah.
Horus is like, "Fine, I'll just I'll just go kill the Emperor." And then Erebus, the guy that Lorgar sent to corrupt Horus,
The
was
grand
like,
cocksucker.
yeah, was like, "Yo, the rest of the boys are almost here." And then Horus goes, "All right, so I'll just have the Emperor come to me and then just kill him." So he goes, "Hey, Dad, fuck you, come here." And then this
All right, so
comes
we
to chapter 12, The Boys versus Horus, Dawn of Grim Dark.
All right, so we got Rogel Dorn, we got the Emperor, we got Sanguinius, the Emperor's
Custodes,
bodyguards, the Custodes, we got the Blood Angel, and the Imperial Fist.
Also, before we continue, the Custodes are like a step above Space Marines, but a step below Primarchs.
Okay.
All right, so they're on Horus's flagship, and they're gonna kick this cocksucker in the cock. But they all kind of got split up, so it wasn't like an epic was just a charge. And Sanguinius got to Horus first.
It was like Luigi's Mansion.
All right, so this is it. This is a final battle. We got Horus Lupercal, the Arch Traitor, the War Master of Chaos, Chaos's chosen cocksucker versus Sanguinius, the Emperor's angelic son, 2-time demon wrestling champion. The final battle. Sanguinius yelled his famous line, "I hunger for burger, heretic burger," and he ate him. And thus everyone lived happily ever after. The end. And that's it. That is what happened.
Warhammer 40,000 ended in the 30th millennia. Nothing bad happened. That's it.
Yeah. Yep.
That's our boy Sanguinius. He's the best.
Can't believe Horus died.
Except
Oh,
Horus killed Sanguinius.
all the really bad shit happened.
So yeah, Horus kills Sanguinius, which sends a big bad shockwave that makes all the Blood Angels think they're Sanguinius fighting Horus, and so they
Which
go
was
into
about the
what's
most
known as,
terrifying thing of all time.
which is known as the Black Rage, where they're like, "Ah, Horus!" and they just start killing everything in sight, like literally everything in sight.
Damn.
Like that's not an exaggeration. They will kill anything if they get into the Black Rage, which is a bad thing. And the Emperor arrives and sees Sanguinius dead, and he goes, "Horus, my baby boy, my son, my favorite child. You killed your baby brother. You killed Sanguinius." And they begin fighting. But the Emperor is sad because his sons are dead, and gets his ass kicked by Horus. Horus rips his arm off, tears out his eye, and breaks his back. Horus, standing triumphant, is about to kill the Emperor when a single, normal human stands in front of the Emperor, unable to be moved because his balls were too large. Horus destroys him. But seeing this act of honor, the Emperor stands up, missing his eye, missing his arm, stands up and destroys Horus. Not only killing him and his soul, but also eviscerating him from the timeline.
Damn.
Horus
Horus
no
is not
longer
canon.
That you
exists.
just Thanos him from the entire timeline?
Horus is canon, but Horus is non-canon, but he is canon. Because this all happened. But Horus died so hard that he no longer exists.
All right, so we have all the really bad shit happens part 2 because it only gets worse from here. So
Damn.
Rogel, he finds the dying emperor, and the emperor's like, "You got to get me to the golden throne." And so the emperor is forced into the golden throne to keep him alive, and
also
he's stuck.
Keep the warp rift sealed for eternity.
Yeah, and Malkador dies when he gets off the throne. He immediately turns to dust, and he becomes known as Malkador the Hero. And obviously, the traitors are in trouble. So
they're
they
like, fuck this.
They run for the warp and they escape. And with the Emperor out of the picture, Robbie G, because he's the politician, he's the statesman, he takes over things and he decides to fix things with a book. It's called the Codex Astartes. And as well as detailing like how Space Marines should act, it breaks up the legions into bite-sized chapters. It's widely regarded by most as a bad move.
This is what I said about the book in his slide about a lot of people not liking it. This was very controversial. This almost started a civil war.
Damn.
So yeah, Rogel didn't like the book, and he decided that it was just best to just die. So he went to go fight Perturabo, and Perturabo nearly killed him and his legion until Gilly Boy showed up.
This is the point where so what happened specifically is he didn't like the book, and he was like, I'm getting me pain glove, and he got in the pain glove, for a week. And the pain glove, while he was in it, the ghost of the Emperor himself, who is not dead, by the way, I'm just going to point that out, comes to him and goes, "Rogel, my son, read the book. You'll like it. I gave it 5 stars on Amazon." And he came out of the pain glove and he goes, "The book is okay. Now I must convince my children to do the same. Children, go die." And so they all go and they fight Perturabo in the Iron Cage, and Gilliman had to save the Imperial fists from getting exterminated.
Gotcha.
So fast forward a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Sergio, give it away. Take it away. Give it away now.
All right. So chapter 15 is bad shit part 3. Everyone dies. So it's 32nd millennium now, and shit be fucked. Kurz felt really bad, and he let an assassin kill him. And a man claiming to be Alfarius fought Gilliman. Gilliman killed him.
So we don't know
Omegon is dead? Question mark.
Maybe Omegon is dead. Maybe. We don't know.
Big maybe.
Unfortunately,
don't know.
Gilliman is struck down by Fulgrim the Snaky Boy by a poison knife, and he's put into stasis. And Lionel is betrayed by his daddy Luther. Luther turned out to be a cocksucker, and he's put into stasis as he's badly wounded. And at the same time, that guy Zeke we mentioned earlier, Abaddon the Spoiler, he launches his first Black Crusade, and Rogel disappears.
Yes, Rogel Dorn disappears, and the only thing they can find is his one hand, and so they now worship that hand as a god, and they engrave their names on it when they become Space Marines. That's not a joke.
And the Crusade fails, and Zeke Abaddon is henceforth known to the fandom as Failbadon, sometimes Failbadon the Armless, because his first model, the arms wouldn't stay on it.
I didn't know that, actually. That's funny.
All right, so Korax, because Korax was very sad. He decided to go into the warp, and he realized that in a place of belief, you become what you are. So he became a spirit of vengeance, like a literal flock of ravens.
He became the Ghost Rider.
Yeah, and at this point, Lorgar had become a demon prince, and he was enjoying his shit, but Korax showed up, and Korax was killing everything in sight, and Lorgar locked himself in his room until further notice.
Yeah, which is fucking awesome, by the way. Shout out to Corvus Korax.
All right, everyone is still continuing to die. Jagatai Yeah, Jagatai went chasing after some Dark Eldar, and he's never seen again. Lehman went into the warp looking way to heal the Emperor. He also is never seen again. The largest orc war happens, even bigger than the Horus one, called the War of the Beast. It almost kills all the Imperial Fists, and Vulcan sacrifices himself.
Like, when we say it almost killed all the Imperial Fists, we mean there is one left. There is one Imperial Fist left. And then all of their, like, successor chapters, like the Black Templars, the Crimson Fist, stuff like that. So they have to take people from the other chapters and put them into the Imperial Fists, because the Imperial Fists got fucked.
Yeah, so the Vulcan also had a big wrestling match with the Beast, and they jumped into Reactor, and he sacrificed himself. But he lives, but we don't know where.
Yeah, he died, but he didn't. But we don't know where he is, so he's dead.
All right, and then at a later point, Angron is banished into the warp, and a very angry Grey Knight, which is a really awesome type of Space Marine.
Yeah, remember what we said about Malkador and that one guy forming the Inquisition?
Sure.
Well, this is the Inquisition. The Grey Knights. They're super Space Marines that are hellbent on just killing chaos and nothing else.
Yeah, Mortarion killed the first Grey Knight, so an even more badass Grey Knight named Kaldor Drago carved that dead Grey Knight's name into Mortarion's heart and sent him packing back into the warp.
That is true. Kaldor Drago is a badass motherfucker.
So, at this point, any remaining Chaos Primarchs are just stuck in the warp doing shit. They're just doing their own thing in the warp. And thus the Primarchs are gone.
Yes,
and
all the Primarchs are gone.
I will let Jake take Chapter 16, which is the Imperium go to shit.
So here's the thing, Michael, right? Here's the thing.
Yes.
No Emperor, no Malkador, no Primarchs, right? You know, the only people who know what was good for the Imperium?
Mm-hmm.
So all these chuds come out, and they're like, yo, we're the High Lords of Terra, we'll rule. And so they establish an ecclesiarchy, right? An ecclesiarchy that worships the Emperor as a god by all his holy mandate. And of course, as the god, all heretics, all Xenos, and all mutants must be purged.
Yeah, remember that book?
Yeah, remember that book that Lorgar wrote that was bad?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they find it. And they're like, dude, this book rocks. Let's follow it to a T. And if anyone doesn't follow it, we'll just kill them. And if we can't if there's too many of them, we'll just blow up their planet. So the Inquisition is a shadowy organization that is kind of shitty, but also kind of good. And the Inquisition, some Space Marines in the Church are the only ones allowed to know about chaos.
Yeah. In the Imperium, you're taught that the Emperor had like his 9 angelic sons and no other ones.
Yes, none left, none else.
You're not allowed to know about chaos. It's like look, if Jim starts wearing spikes and starts
just kill him.
Yeah, just kill him. If he tells you about a dude named Redacted, you're gonna have to off yourself.
If he says Horus, just cut off your own penis and die.
Damn.
And even Space Marines don't know about chaos. Like Space Marines are a need to know basis. If they see a Chaos Space Marine and they're like, "What the fuck is that?" They're like COs are like, "Oh, buddy, listen." And they sit them down on their knee and they're like, "Our brothers are dicks." And they're like, "Oh, okay." But yeah, so
except I'm sure like the Space Wolves are told that Magnus is like the boogeyman and they need to like beat the shit out of him for all eternity.
Yeah. So the Emperor, let's just reestablish some things, right? The Emperor didn't want to be worshipped as a god.
Yep.
He's not worshipped as a god. The Emperor said religion is bad. So there is now a statewide mandated religion that if you don't follow, you'll die.
Gotcha.
He says believe in technology and science and innovation. All of those things are banned. The Imperium is constantly besieged on all sides and is a constant state of war with orcs and Necrons and elves and dark elves and more things that they found way later. And then in Millennia 35, a thing known as the Age of Apostasy happens. A Lorgar tier guy known as Goge Vandire takes over the church and makes it horrible. The Sisters of Battle, which are female Space Marines basically, are formed. A group of gamer girls with Space Marine equipment who flatten his cock. They also have holy powers because they believe in the Emperor so hard that he can literally cure their wounds and give them the power to kill anything and become angels.
So is Rey Palpatine just
Ray
like
Palpatine would get her ass kicked by the Sisters of Battle.
I was gonna ask if she was a Sister of Battle.
No, they would kick her ass.
Gotcha.
She believes in the Force, and that's heresy because that's not the Emperor.
Yep, that's fair.
But yeah, so the Necrons, who were asleep for a long time,
They wake up.
They wake up, and they're like, "All right, let's kill everything." And then in M37, the Tyranids show up. Have you ever seen the movie Alien?
I'm aware of it.
That, but there's a lot of them.
So
Yeah,
Alien.
basically big like bug creatures who hunger for burger.
And they have gene stealer cults that are these humans that are combined with their DNA to make more of them. Basically, they're like
Gotcha.
you know how so the anatomy of a xenomorph, right? There's the face hugger,
Yeah, I know
and
about
then
it.
there's the chest burster.
Yep.
They're the face huggers. They get face hugged, and then they just make Tyranids. And Tyranids are a hive mind that just kill everything in sight, and they suck.
Okay, so so essentially the Tyranids are literally just aliens.
They're super aliens. Imagine xenomorphs times 100.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they're bad enough that even the Ultramarines have problems with them. If as Mary Sue as they are.
Yeah, so anyways, going ahead a little more, Abaddon, remember Abaddon?
Phalbadon?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
Phalbadon.
he took over the Sons of Horus and renamed them the Black Legion and painted them all black and was like, so we'll just take everyone from all the evil people. So he tried to take over the Imperium with his 12 Black Crusades that all ended in failure. Kind of. It's a little... On the first one, he got a cool sword that's like an evil version of the Emperor's sword. And then on the rest, he kept trying to take over Cadia, which is this planet where most of the human guardsmen come from, because Cadia stands. Because there's another big old warp tear on Cadia, and if the Chaos people take it over, the universe will basically be ripped in half.
Gotcha.
All right, so I will cover the next slide. So we have the 13th Black Crusade. So there were 7 editions of Warhammer 40k where nothing was happening. And Abaddon was like, all right, it's time to advance the plot, boys. So remember, so on those 12 Black Crusades, while Abaddon was getting his ass handed to him, he was actually destroying these things called the Cadian pylons. Basically, the pylons were keeping the big asshole, the Eye of Terror. It's like the hole that was on Terra, but worse, like under control. Yeah, so he took them down, and they were built by the Necrons, and the Necrons are like, the Necrons join up with the humans. Like, this is how bad shit is getting.
Yeah, the Necrons hate everything, and they joined with the humans. That's how bad it is.
Yeah, so we got like the Imperium, we got elves, we got Necrons. They're all trying to defeat Abaddon, but Cadia fell. It stands.
Yeah, Cadia stood for 10,000 years.
Yeah,
and then it fell. And
yeah,
so we need. Can we have a moment of silence for Cadia, please? Just Cadia stands for the guardsmen. Let's have a moment of silence.
Rest in pieces.
Yeah, so I'd also like to point out that Abaddon was getting his ass handed to him, and he had to crash a ship called the Blackstone Fortress into Cadia to blow it up. But he blows up Cadia, and it goat-seed the Eye of Terror big enough to split the galaxy in half.
Yeah, so the galaxy literally got split in half.
Yeah, and on the other half, which is the dark half, so like the Emperor has like a holy psychic beacon that you use to navigate the warp. You can't see it on the other side, so you can't really warp travel on the other side. So
warp travel is like literally like you use the warp to like it's literally like a Star Wars warp drive, but using the warp.
Yeah. So we got cocksucking men and demons on all sides. Terra is now under siege by the forces of the irate gamer. Saint Celestine, who was a sister of battle that died and became one of the Emperor's angels, she was killed by Abaddon, and the galaxy was in a bad place. Like, we're talking Horus Heresy levels of bad, even worse. But
yeah, because at least with the Horus Heresy, like, they had the Emperor and they had all the Primarchs. The Primarchs are gone. This is fucked. These are just normal people in Space Marines. And as you remember, in the hierarchy, the Space Marines are the virgins of the Primarchs.
Gotcha.
This is bad.
But there was one tech priest there's these groups called the tech priests that live on Mars that make all the Emperor technology. One of them, and an Eldar shaman, knew the galaxy needed a hero, and they could bring him back.
Oh no.
And
Q, we need a hero.
Yeah. Where have all the good men gone, and where are all the gods? Where's Rabute Gilliman killing Abaddon in his big cock? Bum 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 bum.
I don't think that's part of the song.
Isn't there a blue knight
It's a white
with
knight.
the Emperor's fiery sword?
What the fuck? I don't like
Every
this.
night I toss
Can
and
we
I
please
turn
move
and
on?
I beg for
Okay,
my
Jake,
big
stop.
boy.
It didn't even rhyme.
Gilliman has arrived.
All right, so there was an Eldar shaman named Urain. She had a dream that was like, you gotta bring Gilliman back. Everything is going to shit. So she wakes up and finds that like the Dark Eldar and the Eldar are getting attacked by Bel Delphine. She has to hurry and leave. She manages to find a tech priest named Call. Call helped make the Primarchs, and he was given a very special mission by Gilliman before he went to stasis. So she gets him out of Cadia, because obviously Cadia's going to shit. And they get the boys back together. So Celestine's back, because she just revived. And the Black Templars and the Grey Knights, they hurry to Blueberry HQ, which was also under siege by the cocksuckers. So they enact the world's greatest protect mission to protect Yvraine while she gets Gilliman's soul back. And they're putting Gilliman in a new set of armor. It's got his name on his shoulder plate. And
it's a cool set of armor.
Yeah, he's also got a heavy bolter in his glove, which is basically like a super LMG.
Nice.
So Gilliman wakes up, and there's world eaters and altar boys everywhere, and Call tosses him the Emperor's sword. It lights on fire, and Gilliman kills cocksuckers like it's Millennium 30.
Damn.
So Gilliman, who's like super confused, like there's heretics everywhere. He doesn't know what's going on.
You know how much change in those 10,000 years he was gone. He's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. There's this woman who's like an angel. It's like I'm the Emperor's daughter, and he's like what's happening? And then he reads this PowerPoint, and he gets kind of depressed at what's been going on.
Gotcha.
So
Bless
Gilliman decides that they need to go to Terra. They need to save it. He needs to talk to Dad. So he and the boys are gonna go. So we have the end for now.
Yeah. So I'll take this.
All right.
So Bel Delphine and the boy toys weren't really happy because they were like, all right, Abaddon, go win, and then he failed. So Bel Delphine and the irate gamer were like, Gilliman's gonna go, he's gonna fuck things up. Irate gamer, do something. And then irate gamer was like, no, Bel Delphine, you do something. And then Gilliman was like, I've got a sword! It's on fire! And then he just kept going. And so DSP was like, Mortarion, go get him. But then the Emperor, using his man powers, not his god powers, because he's not a god,
Yep.
sent his blessings to Gilliman so Gilliman could get there. And so Gilliman made it to the moon. And he was like, we got this. Let's do this. We got this. And then Magnus showed up and was like, you'd point a sword at your own brother! And then Gilliman was like, dude, is that a Liquid Snake quote? And then Magnus is like, shut up. Come on. And then Magnus kind of beat his ass with his psychic powers. And then the Sisters of Silence, which are like kind of like Sisters of Battle but different. I don't know how to describe them. Sergio, how would you describe them?
The Sisters of Silence basically have the ability to cancel out warp powers. They don't work around them. So Magnus just turned into a regular 300-foot tall demon man that could be.
And so Gilliman was like, fuck you. And then the Custodies were like, fuck you. And then Terra was safe. And so Gilliman was like, I'll go talk to Dad. And then Dad was like, dude, I don't know what you want from me. I'm fucking.
He was like, I never loved you. You all were just tools to me.
This is you gotta fix shit. And then Gilliman was like, oh man, I'm sad now. But he resolved to save the galaxy at any cost.
That's fair.
And that's it. That is where the Warhammer lore is at in the 21st century in the year 2020.
God, this episode is longer than any Fanon Friday.
Is it really? It's got to be, 2 hours?
We've been recording for about 2 hours now. So, but it will be edited down probably to at least like maybe an hour
145. Yeah.
So yeah, that was Warhammer 40,000.
What were your thoughts? How do you feel? Do you feel informed?
My brain hurts.
Oh yeah,
that was
the least brain hurty mode of it too.
You were throwing names at me, and you're just like, "Hey, do you remember this guy?" I'm like, "Mm-hmm." I remember Man Name.
Yeah.
I remember Trungolstein.
But yeah, how do you feel? Do you feel informed?
I feel informed. It is definitely a thing.
Do you feel like it's something that interests you now, that you know some of it?
I feel like I'm more confused about it than I was before, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's the phase. Okay, there are phases of Warhammer, right? So phase 1 is you don't know anything about it, right?
Okay.
And then phase 2 is you kind of know things about it, and you think it's really cool. And then phase 3 is that you go to learn more about it, and you get more confused than you were in phase 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then phase 4 is you just are like, whatever.
Yeah, well,
and then you're like, this is really cool anyways. And
the thing, I'm really bad at, like, fancy names.
Oh, yeah. No, some of the names in Warhammer are fucked.
Yeah, like
shout out to the Sigillite.
Shout out to my Minecraft chicken named Gregorny.
Gregorny.
Yeah, Gregorny. Yeah. So, but, like, I'm really bad at names that are not, like, very simple to understand.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if you know, like, Jake, you would know that I don't call... who's the fucking guy? See, I'm already doing it. Who's the guy that has the disintegration powers in My Hero?
Shigaraki.
Yeah, I don't even call him Shigaraki. I just call him Hands Man because that's how I remember him.
Yeah.
Like, of course, I remember like the main characters because I'm around them a lot.
Oh yeah.
Except for like fucking, like there's like few exceptions. I'm already blanking on it because I was about to say, Zabuza, because Zabuza's a Chad.
Yeah.
But like I'm very bad at remembering names that are not like very simple or very clever.
Oh yeah, no, I have the same problem. So like getting into Warhammer was hard for me because I'd be like, who the fuck is that guy again? But like, if you can get into it and you like lore, you would love it.
Because, I mean, I enjoy lore.
There's so much lore. They're like each species has their own huge thing of lore. God. There are people who I follow on Twitter who are Warhammer fans that they're only involved with like the Eldar and the Dark Eldar, and they just have so much shit to go off of based on that.
Cool.
Like there's like hundreds of books on like on the Eldar and on the Inquisition, and there's an entire series of books based off the Horus Heresy now.
There's like 70 of them.
Oh yeah, there's a lot. There's comics. Marvel's doing comics soon.
Jeez.
It's good.
Yeah, and we're getting a new edition too.
Oh so yeah, now is a good time to be a Warhammer fan.
Oh yeah, 9th edition's coming out.
9th edition, holy shit.
Yeah, they release a new edition every few years as well.
Yeah, basically the 9th edition setting up for a new plot with like the Space Marines and the Sisters of Battle against the Necrons because the Necrons are up to something.
Gotcha.
It's good though. It's really good. So
I will.
Let's go with our question of the day. Who was your favorite character, Michael? From what you heard?
I have Vulcan with 3 hearts next to his name.
Fair. I mean, everyone likes Vulcan. He's Vulcan.
You can't go wrong with Vulcan. Yeah, that's I like Vulcan a lot.
Yeah, Vulcan is cool. Vulcan is honestly really cool because he just got this big fuck you hammer, and he's super honorable, and he's like protect the humans at all costs. They're so important. And his gene children, the salamanders, are like, "Oh, Father, we love you." And he's like, "I love you too, my sons." He's a legend. Sergio, what about you? Who's your favorite character?
Well, obviously we got to go with the Emperor because he's just the greatest of all time.
Also, if you're wondering what the Emperor's real name is, it's the Emperor.
He doesn't have a real name.
It's the Emperor. His name is the Emperor.
That's a Chad move.
My favorite Primarch is probably Sanguinius. Lionel Johnson is a close second.
Oh yeah.
I like how you guys know so much about Lorehammer lore. I just called it Lorehammer.
Yeah.
Warhammer lore, and like my brain is like comprised of mostly the history of Chuck E. Cheese. I don't know why. Yeah, like I mean, it's going off a little off topic, but like I know so much about the history of Chuck E. Cheese that it's like I could possibly make a documentary on it, even though there's like already plenty of documentaries on it.
Charles Entertainment Cheese.
Yeah. But
I'm glad. I think you had fun.
I definitely enjoyed the witty dialogue that was exchanged between us all.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think now is a good time to stop and end off the episode. So
yeah, sorry that this one was super long, everybody, but we had a lot to cover.
Yeah,
and this was 1% of it. So if you didn't know anything about Warhammer and this interested you, give it a shot.
Yes, there's plenty of lore channels that you can check out that explain things way better than we did.
Oh, yeah. Again, we'll have the PowerPoint presentation in the description of this episode. I also want to announce that I have updated the Redbubble store. There is now a shirt with our new logo on it. I'm tempted to make one of our old logo too, just that way we have it. You can also get a face mask of our logo and a button of our logo. And there's also the Dark Trunks shirt if you want to get that.
if you want to get
that.
It's
also you can also get a button of Dark Trunks if you really want to.
Yo, can we get a shirt that says Proud CSM on it?
I don't think I want to have Proud Cocksucker Man.
No, it just says Proud CSM, and then it's the chaos symbol. So it just looks like it's like proud Chaos Marine. But we know.
Well, we know. Yeah. So make sure that you are following us on socials if you haven't already. That way you can keep up to date with new episodes. This was a bonus episode, so this won't be counted in the episode count. But this is a prelude to future fan fictions, and I'll probably do one myself too for these fine gentlemen.
Yeah, we should do more, honestly.
Yeah, this is kind of
general of these because these are fun.
Yeah. I will get to work on mine.
Is it going to be Chuck E. Cheese lore?
No, Chuck E. Cheese is not a fictional universe, sadly.
Technically, it is.
No, it has its own characters, but there's like it's not its own lore.
Yeah, I guess it takes place in the real world.
It does. It's not an alternate universe.
Yo, real life lore stream.
Yeah, let's do the real life lore stream.
Yeah, the outside lore is pretty crazy. But with that being said, thank you all for listening. I have a lot of editing to do, and we'll see you all next week with possibly another bonus episode. Goodbye.